Hello, fifth graders. Welcome back to School Online. And I am excited to have you this morning. Okay, just before we move on to the topic of today, let's remember we all are great, we are awesome, the girls are beautiful, and the boys are handsome. Please give yourself a round of applause. Good. All right. Now, today, our topic is mixtures and compounds. But before we move on to the topic of today, I know we all love to have hot chocolate in the morning. I love it. And I prefer to have mine with some milk, some Milo, some sugar, and I love it hot. Now, when you are taking that, what you're taking is actually a mixture. So, what exactly are mixtures? Mixtures are formed when two or more substances combine together without being chemically bonded. That means no reaction actually takes place. So it is a combination of two or more substances that do not react chemically. All right, beautiful. Some of us love to take rice and beans. When you take rice and beans, you see the rice and you see the beans, they do not combine together to form a new substance. So we call that a mixture. Now, if you look at the screen, we have something on the screen that I know most of you love. That's a pizza, yes, and we can see the components. Yes, it's all called pizza, but it has some components in it, and the components are different one from another. I can see I think chops of onions. I think something like something leafy, and a number of things, and they all are separate one from another, all making up the pizza. So we call this a mixture because the components or the constituents do not react together. They are still remaining as individual, though they have come together to form a mixture. Good. Now, look at another example, other examples of mixtures. You have quite a number there. You all can see them. You can see the individual components still retaining their identity. Good. So again, mixture is a combination of two or more substances that combine together or that come together without a chemical reaction, without a chemical bond between the substances. All right. So we have different types of mixtures. Actually, two of them. We have the heterogeneous mixture and we have the homogeneous mixture. Now let's look at the heterogeneous mixture. Why do we call them heterogeneous? We call them heterogeneous because we can still see the components separate from each other. Yes, they retain their individual identity. Again, look at that bowl of cereal. Yes, it's a mixture of cereal and milk. Yes, but I can see the milk and I can see the cereal. Yes, they have come together, but I can still see the individual components remaining, having their own distinct identity. Good. That is an example of a heterogeneous mixture. Good. Of course, your plate of rice and beans is another example of a heterogeneous mixture. Yes, you can see each of the components retaining their individual identity. Now, let's move on to the second type of mixture, which is the homogeneous mixture. The word homo actually means one, being together, Now, we call it homogeneous mixture because when they mix together, when they combine together, even though they do not react chemically, they seem to look like a single entity. You cannot find the components standing as individual again. You can't find the substances that make them up retaining their individual identity. Now, let's talk about cake. Can you tell me the substances that I use in making a regular cake? Let's go. You have sugar, you have the flour, You're likely to have butter, yes. You'll have milk, yes. Those are the likely components of a regular cake. Now, when they are mixed together, it's actually a mixture. When the cake is done, you can't find butter standing on its own. You can't find sugar standing on its own. You can't find the mix standing on its own. No, they come together and they look like they're one, even though there is no chemical combination. Okay, that kind of mixture is called a homogeneous mixture. Now on the screen, you can see a cup of chocolate milk. Yes, it's all looking together. You can't separate the milk from the chocolate again. Yep, that's an example of a homogeneous mixture. Good. Now let's talk about compounds. A compound is a combination of two or more substances that chemically combine. Yes, when you have two or more substances that are combined chemically, then we say a compound has been formed. Yes, in a compound, you do not have the components retain their individual property. No, they become like they are one. For example, let's look at water. Water is a combination of, I hope you remember, hydrogen and oxygen. Yes, hydrogen and oxygen. The two of them combine together in definite proportions to form water. Another example of a compound is sodium chloride. That's what you call salt. It's a combination of sodium and chlorine. Now, those are actually elements. They're actually elements, but we call that the regular salt. Sodium chloride is a combination of sodium and chlorine. So they come together and then they form a new compound. They form something totally new, which is called sodium chloride. Now, can we see the difference? Yes, a mixture will combine together. They will not react chemically, so they retain the properties of individual components. But a compound, when the substances of compounds combine together, a chemical reaction occurs. They are chemically bounded. They are chemically bonded, so we have a new substance formed. Good. I hope now we know the difference between mixtures and compounds. Now, watch out for next week, because next week we're going to be looking at the different ways that we can use to separate our mixtures, and it's going to be a really exciting class. Now, if you have any question, chat me up on the board. Tell me the things that I need to know. If there's something that you know about this topic I've not mentioned, please let me know that you know. All right, now you may go into your quiz and your assignment and be good.